So it's important when you're looking at real estate to understand the terminology. What's the difference between what they call a bank-owned property, a foreclosed property, or a HUD property? Most of the properties that we see now that are quote-unquote bank-owned are actually owned by HUD. HUD is Housing and Urban Development. It's actually the federal government. And the way that you end up with a HUD property is that when a bank forecloses on a property, they usually have a mortgage insurance premium. That's the insurance premium that first-time home buyers buy with FHA loans, and really almost every loan. They buy a mortgage insurance premium policy, and when the bank has to foreclose due to non-payment, they'll get reimbursed under that insurance policy. And when they get reimbursed under that insurance policy, they actually transfer the property to HUD. So you're no longer are a bank-owned property. It's fundamentally different. So for instance, you're not owned by Wells Fargo or Bank of America. It becomes owned by HUD because the bank got paid an insurance premium for whatever money they lost when they had to foreclose on the property, and now the federal government owns it. So HUD owns properties in all 50 states, and they deal with them all the same way. So on a HUD contract, it's a 28-page contract. It's not meant to be hurtful to the buyer, but it's kind of, you're going to do the process their way and their way only. So that process is very defined, and it's a very good process once you understand it. But I think a lot of agents struggle and a lot of buyers struggle because they don't understand that this is the HUD process, and the HUD process is different than the bank-owned process, and it's also very different than a normal home buying process. So we can go through that in a later video if you're interested, and check out some of our content on how to buy a HUD property.